Why is the before-work hustle an after-school home, a section of my block, a corner to call my own. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why. Join today at ymca.org for a better us.
Where else can you get a steaming hot sub piled high with grilled meats and veggies, nestle up next to fresh-cut fries, and a hand-squeezed lemonade? This meaty, melty, massive hot mess is only at Penn Station.
Penn Station, grilled just for you.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by two words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Bobix Golf. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Live from the Hoopy Insurance Services Studios, this is WKJG 1380 AM, 100.9 FM, The Fan, Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is a presentation of high school sports on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. The Hoopy Fieldhouse High School Coaches Show. Learn more about the Hoopy Fieldhouse, now available to schedule practice times for your league or team at hoopyfieldhouse.com. Now here's your host, Justin Kenny.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the High School Coaches Show presented by Hoopy Fieldhouse. It is Regional Basketball Week throughout the state of Indiana, and we're talking plenty of regional hoops here tonight and an abbreviated show. We will make way for Mastodons basketball around 6:45 tonight. Brett Rump will bring you coverage of Purdue-Fort Wayne at Oakland against the Grizzlies, quarterfinals of the Horizon League tournament. We'll see if the Dons can go on the road. They've won 3 straight games over the Grizzlies up in Oakland. See if they can make it 4 and advance to the semifinals of the Horizon League tournament Monday evening down at the Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis. So we'll make way for the Dons around 6:45, but plenty of regional basketball to talk about. We'll talk to Dan Vance from Outside the Huddle here in just a couple seconds. We'll break down all the area matchups. We'll talk to Deric Adams, head coach of the Canterbury Cavaliers, his team in action in regional play this weekend. They'll take on North Vermilion. We'll talk to him about his squad and how they're prepping for a trip to Frankfurt. We'll talk to Gary Andrews, head basketball coach of the Northside Legends. His team back-to-back sectional champions last 2 years, and it will be a SAC matchup all the way down in Logansport, 4 o'clock on Saturday. It'll be Northside and Wayne for a regional championship, so we'll talk to Coach Andrews about that. But let's talk all regional action with our buddy Dan Vance from Outside the Huddle. Joins us right now. Evening, Dan.
Hey, Justin. How's it going?
Pretty good, and I feel like I've asked this question for the last several weeks. Anything kind of surprise you from last weekend in terms of what we saw in sectional play? Who got out in the sectional in the area? Maybe who didn't, and anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that we can all agree that one of the biggest surprises happened before we talked last week, and that was Belmont's loss to Mississinawa in a Tuesday night game. So that was over with. But as far as the finals, I don't know that anything really shocked me. Warsaw coming out of a pretty tough sectional in Elkhart, getting wins over Concord and Penn. Not just getting the wins, but convincingly getting the wins. I think that we're seeing Warsaw peak at the right time. So I think that was a little surprising. Not necessarily that they won. I think that we knew they were contenders, but that they were pretty convincing in how they got through. But behind that, nothing's too big of a surprise. Concordia was one of the favorites in their sectional, and they up in Leo in the final, and that doesn't too shocking. Black Hawk Christian, they were in that sectional that we knew was going to be tough at Bluffton. Maybe another one of the shocking things is how convincingly they got through. A 23-point win over Adams Central on Friday night in the semifinals. We thought that would be a lot closer. But other than that, I don't know if we have any real big surprise winners maybe just more surprised by some of the margins of victories that we saw in some of those games.
Dan, let's look ahead to the regionals coming up on Saturday throughout the state. And let's start with that 1A matchup, Canterbury and North Vermilion. We're going to talk to Coach Deric Adams a little bit later about his Cavaliers. And what do you see in this matchup? And can Canterbury capture a regional championship?
Yeah, I think they have to be a heavy favorite here. We've talked all year about Canterbury getting the tougher schedule. And what they can do. They're not playing a lot of 1A schools. 4 games against 1A schools before the postseason, and that's huge when you're playing bigger schools, tougher schools. Canterbury went 7-4 against non-1A schools starting January 1st. And why starting January 1st is important is because before that, when they started the season 1-5 overall, they didn't have Tucker Day, who's been their second leading scorer. They didn't have John Parent, who's been their third leading scorer. They didn't have Jackson Davis or Colin Berta. Those guys weren't eligible until January 1st. So it's kind of like we've seen Canterbury now in their third different incarnation this year. It was the pre-eligibility portion to start the year. They only played a handful of games before January 1st. Then what we saw in the regular season, and now it's a whole different team that they're playing against 1A schools because they just didn't play against 1A schools. And so I think that the schedule toughened them up. This is talent-wise not a 1A school. So for them to be playing in 1A right now, I think that they're not even a favorite necessarily to win the state, but they got to be among the top 3 or 4 teams, I would say, in the state in 1A right now. When you look at those guys and what Devin Lewis has been able to do, leading Canterbury in scoring at 15.5 a game, Ashton Dressler, they're very deep, they're long, they're athletic, and they're different than a lot of 1A schools.
Dan, let's look ahead at Class 2A and a couple area teams. The regional at Triton, Westview will take on Wabash. And at Frankfort, after that Canterbury game, will be Blackhawk Christian and LCC, Lafayette Central Catholic. You mentioned Blackhawk Christian and just how impressive they were last week in the sectional. Is this a team that, after the success they had last year, maybe, and at least through sectionals, playing some of their best basketball of the season, can they continue that, maybe make another run at a state title?
Yeah, I really think they can. I think that when you look at this team, they've been able to do what teams did under Mark Davidson. And, of course, when you make a switch, you never know how well that culture carries over. But you only return 2 significant players from last year's state championship team. Now, they're very good players, and Kellen Pickett, who will be an Indiana Junior All-Star, and Isaac Smith, and I'll talk about him in a minute. But those other guys that have been able to step up who either had no role or a very little role a year ago, and it starts with Aiden Muldoon at point guard, and we saw that during Mark Davidson's time. Guys like Abe Hicks, like Michael Pulver, who stepped into point guard roles after not having a huge role the year before and helped drove that success. So when you look at guys like Aiden Muldoon and Bryce Septon, Luke Mansfield, who have stepped up so big, and that experience and that culture carries over where you lack experience. And I think that has really driven Blackhawk Christian down the stretch of the season, drove them through one of the state's toughest sectionals regardless of class. And then you look at Isaac Smith, and obviously we talk a lot about Kellen Pickett. He averages, 20 points and 12 rebounds a game. He's great. Isaac Smith is shooting 42% from three-point range this season, and it's not like he's shooting very little three-pointers. He's hit 103 three-pointers at 42%. When he gets hot, and he's been very hot lately, Blackhawk's hard to beat. And Smith is one of those 2 kids that played a lot last year, and his leadership as a senior, as well as what Pickett's doing, has really helped continue the culture of Blackhawk Christian. So, yeah, I think they're a real problem for teams going forward.
Dan, the other area team playing in Class 2A Regional, Westview, they'll take on Wabash, and that'll be a 4 o'clock tip-off at Triton. And this matchup, you look at what could be the difference. Is it which team maybe shoots from the outside better? There's a lot of similarities between these 2 teams.
Yeah, I think that if you're Westview, you want to avoid getting in a shooting matchup. Wabash is likely to shoot better from the outside. This is a team that shoots 40% from three-point range in the season, and their 3 biggest volume shooters in Grant Ford, Trevor Daughtry, and Isaac Wright are all shooting over 41%. Isaac Wright has hit the second most threes on this team. He's hit 62 and hits at 46% success rate. So you don't want to get into a shooting matchup. I think Westview's better option is to drive and get to the rim, exploit a little bit of a size difference that you can have in areas, and a little bit more of an explosiveness. Luke Helmuth has been great. He's one of the hottest players in the area lately when it comes to scoring. He had a great sectional run, and is scoring without shooting the ball a lot from long range, and I think that's a difference. And Wyatt Zepp has length that could be difficult at times for Wabash to match up with. They're not a team that goes incredibly deep. So I think that if you're Westview, you want to control the tempo and get to the basket more. They can shoot the ball a little bit. Austin Slaybach is a solid shooter. Caden Grau, Wiley Minix. Luke Hilmey can shoot the ball a little bit pretty well too, but I don't really think you want to get into a shooting contest because I think that Wabash just does it a little bit better.
Dan Vance outside the huddle joining us here on the High School Coaches Show presented by Hoopie Fieldhouse. Dan, let's look at Class 3A, and let's talk about another NECC team that's competing in a regional game, Fairfield. They will take on Bishop Knoll at Triton at 7 o'clock. And break this game down for us. Does Fairfield have a shot to potentially get a regional title?
Yeah, I think they do. I think that what you need to look through for Fairfield is they need to play this game similar to how they played Northside right after the holiday in a game they played at Trine and got a big win over Northside in that game, is that that Hammond Bishop Knoll is going to move the ball very quickly. They're going to try to control a tempo. They're going to try to jump out early. Fairfield is very good when they get the early lead in a game, and then they can kind of control things. If they're battling back and forth or if they have to fight from behind, they're not as good of a team. Still a very good team, still a very deep and diverse team, but they really want to fast start, get out, stretch out the opposing defense, and that's something that you're going to look at a Tice Pry or a Noah Mast, guys that are traditional post players, Mast at 6'7", but they can both shoot the ball a little bit. Fry brings them out, into the mid-range, 15 feet or so, and can hit really well around there, whereas Mast is a threat on the perimeter. So if they can space out the floor and get out to an early lead, I think that's what Fairfield needs to do. I think a benefit for them is that they have such diverse scoring. Mitchell Miller was really good in the middle of the season. It's been Carson Smith lately. He had a really good sectional week. But on the other side of that, the Warriors are very good in getting up and down the court. They have a trio in Caleb Parks, Jaden Renna, and Amari Moore that average almost 40 points a game. Just the three of them, that's Fairfield's defensive average. So if those three all get going at the same time, that's problematic for Fairfield. So they really need to get their lead early so they can control the tempo and kind of dictate how things happen.
If there was a surprise in terms of a sectional winner, and maybe it's Concordia, and I know that Woodland sectional was kind of up for grabs, but after the ending to the season, the regular season for Concordia, they were able to turn it on after 3 straight losses to end the year, 3 dubs last week. We had Coach Phil Brackman on this show last week. Concordia back in action on Saturday. They will take on Delta, a very experienced, very impressive team throughout the season. Concordia kind of playing with house money a little bit. A lot of people maybe thought wouldn't win a sectional title with 9 seniors. They were able to put it together at the right time. Can they continue their good play into Saturday?
They just have to play gritty, Justin, and that's what helped them. And you talk about that sectional final against Leo and, the 50-50 balls, the rebounding. Those were areas where Concordia really showed a really good tenacity and grit. When you get a guy like Ben Bentz, who's, chasing after balls and being a physical presence and rebounding the ball. He had 9 rebounds against Leo. That's huge. And so Concordia's got to do that, and they have to be able to play at a tempo faster than they may be comfortable with. There were times in that Leo sectional final where it got a little frantic, and neither team was able to control the chaos very well in those situations. Concordia's going to have to do that. They're going to have to score more points than they're used to. Delta's given up 41.2 points per game this season. Concordia, in games where they have scored 42 or less, are 0-4. So they're going to have to put the ball in the basket quite a bit. I think Cole Hayworth will be a key for that. 12 points away from hitting 1,000 for his career. So I think that he's going to be enthusiastic. He had a great week, scored 39 against Garrett, a career high in the first round of sectionals. So Concordia really is going to have to put the ball in the basket a lot, be comfortable from three-point range. There were times they were hesitant shooting the ball against Leo when Leo would make runs in a game that Concordia led the entire way. There were some times that Concordia was a little more hesitant, but when they play gritty and physical and are less hesitant, they're a really tough team to beat. Can they beat Delta? It's easier said than done. It's a very, very good Delta team. And it would be a challenge for anybody that came out of that Woodland sectional to have much of a shot against this Delta team. But for Concordia to do it. They just
up in Michigan City, and if there's a magic number for the Warsaw Tigers, it may be 40. And during Warsaw's 7-game winning streak, they've only allowed 40 or more points in a game just 3 times. And you look at a Crown Point team that is averaging just under 60 points per game. Is this what this comes down to? If Warsaw can make Crown Point play their style, their tempo, that it gives the Tigers the best chance to win?
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that last week. And I mentioned the Penn and Concord games, and what was impressive is how they won those games. Those teams were, between the two of them, Penn and Concord were averaging 105 points per game. If you combine the two of them, they scored a total of 69 points against Warsaw. So slow the game down, work the ball inside, out. Luke Yeager had a great week. 66% from the field shooter. He controls the inside, and it let Warsaw break things down from the inside out a little bit. And that definitely helps them control pace last week. So I think that's definitely critical again. But Crown Point's defense makes it difficult for teams to assert their will. They were very strong against Chesterton in the championship game of their sectional last week, and forced 4 early turnovers that really changed the tempo of that game quickly in their favor. So it's definitely a game where the better defense is going to win, where we look at who can score more points. So, obviously that's how you win the game, but we look at the offenses so much. I think this game is more valued on the defensive end, and whoever plays the better defense wins this game.
The lone matchup in regional between two area teams also happened to be two conference foes, Northside and Wayne. They'll play at 4 o'clock in the Berry Bowl at Logansport on Saturday. When these two teams met in the regular season, it was a boat race that Wayne was able to pull away and win by 24 points, 66-42. The second time around, Dan, is this game any closer?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, and when you look at, if you watch that first game, it was a lot closer than that final score indicates. Like you said, it was a race to get there. And at the end of the day, Wayne just had way more steam than Northside. And I think Northside knows that. I think that's something that they are preparing for and probably very well this week. I think this could honestly be the best game we see of any of our Northeast Indiana teams all weekend. It's the postseason, so you kind of got to throw all that out. It doesn't matter anymore what they did, and I think that's something that both squads are probably preaching. You'll talk to Ari Andrews, you can ask him about it. I'm sure he's preaching that first game doesn't matter, and I'm sure Anthony Brewer at Wayne is preaching the exact same thing, that game doesn't matter. All that matters now is what we can do going forward. And so I think this could be a game that comes down a lot to some inside play. Both teams have really good guard play. Javon Lewis is really solid, and he scored 24 points the first time it happened. But if we're ignoring that one, what are we looking through going forward? In that first game, Preston Comer was able to score well. H.J. Dillard and Zaire Sullivan both rebounded very well for Wayne against Northside, and it was a bit of a difference. Despite the fact that Javon Lewis led the team in scoring, it was the interior play of Wayne that really helped separate things, get second chance opportunities, control the glass. So I think that's something that Northside will have to focus on with both Eugene Young and Jackson Fugate. But then you look down the line at Davon Haney and Jordan King. Northside's really going to need to control the interior in this game.
Great insight, great breakdowns of the area regional games coming up on Saturday. Dan, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
That sounds good. Thanks, man.
That was Dan Vance from Outside the Huddle joining us here to talk about the area regional games. We're going to take a break and we'll come back, and it will be we'll talk some Canterbury basketball. That's right, Canterbury basketball with head coach Deric Adams after the break. You're listening to the High School Coaches Show, sponsored by Hoopie Fieldhouse here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Attention all business owners and marketers, mark your calendars for March 19th at 2 p.m. because we have an event that will transform your marketing game. Join us for the second edition of Marketing Mic Drop, where our marketing experts will reveal the secrets to winning big in business. Picture this, a mini marketing panel delving into the power of sweepstakes. Discover the untapped potential that lies in incorporating sweepstakes into your marketing efforts. It's not just a game of chance, it's a strategic move that can elevate your business to new heights. Our seasoned panelists will share insights, success stories, and and proven strategies that have propelled businesses to success. Learn how to captivate your audience, boost engagement, and grow your business. So why wait? Join us March 19th at 2 p.m. for our 30-minute marketing mic drop to witness our mini marketing panel discuss all the ways that using sweepstakes will help your business win big. Register today at federatedmedia.com or text SWEEPS to 46862. That's federatedmedia.com or text SWEEPS to 46862. This webinar event is sponsored by Federated Media. New ideas, old values.
Are you financially fit? Your Indiana Secretary of State is providing Hoosiers with the skills needed to gain more control of your hard-earned resources. Track your spending, build an emergency fund, create a budget, and stay out of debt. And if you're too deep in debt, you're not alone. Improving your financial fitness will take some effort, but you can get started right away to become an informed investor and improve your finances. Learn more at sos.in.gov. Sponsored by the Office of the Indiana Secretary of State.
Welcome back to the Hoopie Fieldhouse High School Coaches Show on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High School Coaches Show presented by Hoopie Fieldhouse. Coming up on Saturday, it will be 4A regional hoops here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM from Logansport. It'll be the Northside Legends and the Wayne Generals. 3:50 coverage will begin, 4 o'clock tip-off. Down in the Berry Bowl, where a regional championship between a pair of SAC teams. It's the only matchup of various squads this week, this Saturday in regional play. Another team that will be in action on Saturday, it will be the Canterbury Cavaliers taking on North Vermilion. Head coach of Canterbury is Coach Deric Adams. Joins us right now. Evening, Coach.
Hey, good evening. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and you are live on location. You're getting ready. I don't think you're staying the 2 nights at Frankfurt, but you guys are getting a practice in at Frankfurt right now.
That's correct. Yeah, they blessed us with the opportunity to get down here and play in a beautiful arena and just kind of get our bearings. It's a little bit different than a little bit different shooting background than we're accustomed to at Canterbury and some of the locations we play. So it's a great opportunity to just see this.
Coach, it's been an interesting season for you considering so much changed after the turn of the calendar, getting guys eligible after the first of the year. How did you break that down? How did you guys handle it? Were the kids able to practice with you, or was it very much a kind of big transition between December and January?
Yeah, it was great to get them in a position to prep for the season itself. They were able to practice with us from day one, which was great. So we saw some of the lineups and the potential opportunities we would have with different guys in different spots. It was just a matter of getting them acclimated to the things that we do. They probably played a lot more defense in those first couple months than what they were accustomed to doing, but I let our guys know, hey, these are some talented guys, and they've known them through the years and know what their level of ability is. And I said, if we can score against these guys in practice, we can score against anybody we play against. So,
hey, Coach, it's been quite the successful second half of the year, particularly you have lost just once since January. And that game was at New Haven. You've won 8 or 9 since. Take us through the sectional last week, getting wins over Southwood and Northfield, and particularly defensively against Northfield, just a tremendous performance.
Thank you. Yeah. We knew it was going to be tough no matter what. We talked to our kids about that, about the idea of, we don't play them on paper, and they're going to come to try and win a ball game just like we're going to try and win. And we knew Southwood would bring it. Played them in the title game last year of sectional, and we picked a bad night to have a bad night, not to take anything away from them, but we didn't shoot it particularly well and did some things that we were uncharacteristic of our team. But this year, we've again, different personnel. They've got some different personnel, so it was a different kind of battle. But we pride ourselves on that end. And you talk about the defensive end. That's where everything starts for us. We like to play fast but not rushed and not in a hurry. And that's where it starts for us, our defensive stops. And that's what we were able to do with Northfield. I think, both of those games we controlled the glass. And that's just a huge thing for us.
Experience matters this time of the year, Coach. You look around, Blackhawk Christian has a lot of seniors. Wayne only has one senior in Javon Lewis, but those juniors have played multiple seasons in the starting lineup. Northside has a multitude of seniors. Concordia has 9 seniors. You guys are seed laden. How important has that been to put this together late in the season and win a sectional championship and play for a regional when you are not only deep, but also deep with experience?
Yeah, it's huge, Justin. The amount of knowledge we have on the floor is in a way incomprehensible to me. I have a hard time believing anybody has. We had 12 seniors total in the program. 4 of which played at a couple other levels, and then we've got 8 on the varsity level, and they feed off of one another, and they're tight knit, and they know each other so well. Even with the new guys, they played with our guys so much through AAU and through summer ball and those types of things that there's just this unbelievable connection that kind of drives us.
Coach Deric Adams of Canterbury Cavaliers joining us here on the High School Coaches Show. And, Coach, wanted to ask you about Devon Lewis because he's been a constant throughout the season. He's your leading scorer. He's a beefy post at 6'3", 220, and he's a physical dude that can battle inside. He's kind of been that constant for you, regardless of what's been around him, and he is definitely thriving at the right time for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Dev is unbelievable. He's a consummate ball player. I've had the opportunity to work with him since, really 4th grade, but at the high school level all 4 years, freshman through his senior year now. And he's relentless. He's relentless. He is a relentless worker. He's relentless on the floor. He's relentless in his, seeking of understanding of the things that we're trying to do and why we're trying to do them. And he's also, a great leader. He doesn't have to be a verbal leader for Devin. It's just that he's that guy that, walks up, pats somebody on the back and says, hey, next play. And he's the type of player that, really in truth, a lot of coaches only get one time in their career. If you get a second one, you're pretty darn lucky.
And he has a worthy adversary or worthy teammate in the post with Tucker Day as well. What's that allow you guys to do with both Tucker and Devin in there?
Yeah, it creates a lot of opportunity for us because, Devin controls so much on the perimeter and Tucker draws so much attention in the post. I'm hard pressed to find another player like Tuck really in the state. I mean, at 6'8" and runs like a gazelle, he's that guy that just kind of draws so much attention that it opens up gaps for other guys. It creates opportunities for Devin, and they play so well together, and then they're so cognizant of where each other is on the floor at all times, and that just drives us into so many different opportunities offensively.
Coach, we talk about this kind of in football in terms of lower class teams like Bishop Luers playing up throughout the season and how much of a benefit that is. Blackhawk Christian has done it in basketball, of course, and you guys have done it as well. This year took on a lot of 4A schools, some 2A schools as well. And how has that benefited you guys now that you get into the 1A playoffs in terms of what it's prepared you for and then what you can take from those games and apply it in the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. I'm very unapologetic about the schedule we play. I know there are people that probably would, rather we play some smaller schools and create better opportunity, but it's never bothered me too much what our regular season record is because we're prepping for the postseason ultimately. And for me to go play at a Wayne, play at a Northrop, play at a New Haven, and a North Side at home and those types of teams, it helps us see, one, very athletic teams, very skilled teams, very prepared teams, all with great coaches that understand the game. And if we're playing teams that are that prepared, then it only sets us up, I think, for success in the postseason because we've in truth seen everything, and not to slight any of the 1A teams, but it's really rare that we see the athleticism that we would see at a lot of these 4A schools and 3A schools at the 1A level. And that's where we get to kind of expound our athleticism a little bit. So, it's just the idea of playing the best, to hope to be the best at the end of the year.
When you look at the matchup, Coach, with North Vermilion, looking over and the threats that they pose, Matthew Dawson, I mean, all eyes kind of for me go to him in terms of his impact on the game in so many different ways in the post on either end of the floor. I imagine he is kind of the centerpiece that you guys need to be prepared for, but him and other issues, what does North Vermilion present to you?
Yeah, I think, they're one of those teams that plays at a little bit different pace than us, just based on some of the video we've watched and some of the things we've talked about with them. And we want to set the tempo. So hopefully we can do that against them. But the Dawson kid, they play through him and just heady and smart. And, they've got a couple of guards that shoot it real well. And it's just going to be the idea, again, that everything and not allow them to create opportunities to get it into the post to Dawson and allow him to be creative. I think, that gives us a fighting chance for sure.
All right, buddy. Hey, I know you got a team to prep for Saturday, so we appreciate the time. Congratulations on that sectional championship, and good luck on Saturday, buddy.
Thank you so very much for having us. I appreciate it. Have a great evening, Justin.
You too, buddy.
Bye-bye.
That was head coach Deric Adams of the Canterbury Cavaliers joining us. His team, fresh off a sectional championship. They'll take on North Vermilion coming up on Saturday at Frankfort, where Canterbury is right now getting a practice in and shots up, and that game will tip off at 1 o'clock at Frankfort. Remember, regionals now, just one game. So win one, and you're a regional champion. Canterbury will play for one on Saturday. Another team that will play for a regional championship on Saturday being the Northside Legends. Head coach Gary Andrews will join us after the break. You're listening to the High School Coaches Show, presented by Hoopie Fieldhouse, 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
If you've been thinking about a new roof, you owe it to yourself to contact Honest Abe Roofing. Abe has several options available for cold weather installation, which will protect your home this winter and for decades to come. Honest Abe also has the best financing options in the area with the lowest interest rates and the longest financing terms, which can equal the lowest payments in the industry. Abe also offers no payments until 2025 for qualified customers. Call now for the absolute best low payment options. Honest Abe Roofing, 286-ROOF.
Where else can you get a steaming hot sub piled high with grilled meats and veggies, nestle up next to fresh cut fries, and a hand-squeezed lemonade? This meaty, melty, massive hot mess is only at Penn Station.
Penn Station, grilled just for you.
There's no better time than now to ensure your home is comfortable all year round with Brockman Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, a true family-owned company, now 4 generations strong. Since 1957, their experts have been keeping your home cozy all winter long, and I should know, as they've been Federated Media's HVAC provider for more than a decade. Plus, Brockman Heating and Air was voted #1 in the Reader's Choice Awards. Brockman Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Brockman's, on time, done right, or it's free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
This is the Hoopie Fieldhouse High School Coaches Show on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back, everyone, to the High School Coaches Show. I'm Justin Kenny. Here in about, 10 minutes or so, we will send it to Brett Rump up in Oakland, Michigan, as the Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodons prep to take on the Grizzlies in the quarterfinals of the Horizon League tournament. It'll be the pregame show around 6:45, tip at 7 o'clock as the Dons look to get another win and advance to the semifinals of the Horizon League tournament that will be held on Monday down in Indianapolis, So plenty of basketball between now and Monday, including regional basketball, and a team playing for a regional championship. You can hear this game on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM, Northside and Wayne. Tips off at 4 o'clock on Saturday. Head coach of the Legends is Mr. Gary Andrews. Evening, Coach.
Hey, Justin. How you doing?
Not bad, buddy. And you've been talking throughout the year about this experience and it was going to pay dividends. And I thought we saw that last week. It started off in that Carroll game, a team that beat you in February. You guys were able to beat them. And then DeKalb, we know how tough it is and frustrating sometimes to play Marty and just how deliberate they are. And it was so at 17-16 at halftime, something like that, before you guys were able to turn it up. And then you beat Snyder in the sectional championship. So, I guess for outsiders, we looked at it, could Northside be tripped up, but I imagine that experience that you alluded to throughout the season really paid off last week.
It really did, and especially the Carroll game. I mean, Jackson Fugate, who's our best, leading scorer and probably our best all-around player, was sicker than a dog, and if it wasn't the sectional, he wouldn't have played. And we had some people step up. The twins stepped up. Devon Haney played really, really well, and, Pardon for Carroll was unbelievable. He was shooting from 5-10 feet behind the line and some shots that, we put Eugene Young on him in the second half, and he slowed him down a little bit, and Eugene not only played great defense, but rebounded, and, I think he had 25 points. But I think we were just tougher, and even when they threw one in to send it in overtime, we were a little shell-shocked at first, but, I think I was able to calm him down in the huddle. By the time we went out there for the overtime, I think we outscored them like 12-2, so... Then, like I said, Marty ball, we shot terrible the first half, and they really slowed it down and limit possessions, and we didn't move the ball as well as we needed to. But I told them we just got to find a way to win. I mean, they had just beaten Northridge, who was ranked 11th, and boy lost by 1 to Belmont. So we knew they were going to give us a tough game, and we toughed that out. And then Snyder's, a very young but very talented team, and I thought we played really well, except for maybe a couple minutes in the fourth quarter. But, we got up 18, and then made some mistakes, and they got it down to 6 or 7, but, we got it back up to double figures and found a way to win.
You guys get another shot at Wayne and in early January. It was a lopsided final score, but that game was closer than the final score indicated. It was a back and forth through the first 2-3 quarters. What do you learn from that game that you put into practice on Saturday, and how much do maybe you just forget about that game and refocus?
Well, that game, I thought we had like a great game plan, and we got great shots in the first half. And Eugene was 2 for 18, and Jackson was 2 for 10. I mean, we were tied at half. In all honesty, we outplayed Wayne and should have been up 10-15. In the second half, we kept missing, and Wayne got hot and got some fast breaks going. Comer hit a couple threes. They got some dunks on the break. And then our kids, usually we fight and battle. I thought that game we kind of just put our heads down, and Wayne kind of just ran it up on us. And like you said, it was a lot closer than, the score indicated. But we played a lot better right now. We're playing, that was coming off right there in the middle of the end of December, middle of January. We kind of struggled to score. We were shooting really poorly. But the last, 8-9 games, we really got our offense going again. And, Haney didn't play in that first game, and Haney was great in the sectional, and he not only can score, he's a great defensive player for us. So we're not as worried about what happened in January, but, we also said, Carroll beat us during the year, and we got him back when it mattered. So we're hoping to do the same thing on Saturday.
When you look at this matchup on Saturday, so many people talk about Javon Lewis and Eugene Young and Jackson Fugate and guys like that. What about Jordan King versus Carrington Terry up front? I think that could be a key battle in the middle.
Really good. Jordan played great in that first game for us. And Jordan, in the sectional championship was a really good force for us. And Jordan is really a low post presence that can score inside. He can also step out and hit the three. He really moves his feet pretty well defensively. For a big guy, we've really got him moving his feet defensively pretty well, and he can rebound. And we're going to need him because, Wayne's got 2 big guys that are really good, and I think he's a big key for us.
You've been around a long time. Don't want you to make you feel old or anything, but plenty of deep runs in the postseason and at the high school level. Do you prefer playing teams that you're familiar with, or is it beneficial to play teams that maybe you haven't seen during the season? Does it kind of depend on the team? Does it not even matter? How do you look at it?
I really look at it kind of really doesn't matter. I mean, I think you want to be playing your best basketball of the year at the end of the year. And, I've been fortunate. A lot of my teams have been, peaked at the right time. I think this team has probably played its best basketball, here at the end of the season. And it's good that we know Wayne. Like, for a scouting report, you say Lewis, okay, they kind of know what you mean. If we're playing some team we've never played before, you could say something they would have no idea when I'm talking to, you have to maybe show them some clips, and they have to go off the scouting report. At least we know what Wayne does. We played him. There's a little familiarity and a little bit of revenge. We want to get them back for them beating us. So, I think we'll be ready Saturday.
All right, Gary. Always a pleasure, my man. Thanks a lot. Good luck against the Generals on Saturday down at the Berry Bowl.
Thanks, Justin.
That was Gary Andrews, head coach of the Northside Legends. His team 19-8. And really senior-laden, but have some talented underclassmen as well, as he kind of feels like it took a little bit. Gary Andrews took over for Shabazz Khalik, and the program was kind of gutted in terms of talent. And Gary really had to build it from the ground up, and has a really good group. And the buy-in has been big there, and how fickle the city can be in terms of talent. And he's been able to corral enough to bring Northside back, and they'll have to take on the two-time defending SAC champions in the Wayne Generals, a team in Wayne that's looking to return to the semi-state for the second consecutive season. That's going to do it for us here. We got to make way for the Mastodons. It'll be Brett Rump live up from Michigan. The pregame show, Mastodons in Oakland. The Dons look to take down the number 1 seed in the Horizon League tournament. After the break, it'll be the pregame show. Top of the hour will be tip-off as the Dons look to advance to the semifinals of the Horizon League tournament. Thanks, everybody, for listening. This has been the High School Coaches Show, presented by Hoopie Fieldhouse, 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Get the latest knife info from one of the country's premium knife shops, Blade Man's Knife Shop at the shops of Scott Road. There's a reason customers drive hours just to shop at Blade Man's in Fort Wayne.
Hi, this is Mark, the owner of Blade Man's Knife Shop, and I'd like to personally invite you out to the store to see the area's best selection of quality knives. We have Benchmade, Spyderco, Microtech, ProTech, Hogue, Zero Tolerance, Medford Knife and Tool, ADV Tactical, Tour Knives, and many more. We also have a great selection of custom knives. At Blade Man's, we specifically select top quality products for the best in customer satisfaction. There's a difference with top brands, and at Blade Man's, we'll take the time to explain how materials and production results in a better knife for your needs, all in a relaxed, pressure-free, consultative environment. We update our online inventory daily so you know you're ordering in-stock product that will be shipped within 1 business day. So check us out on BladeMansKnifeShop.com or stop by the store in the shops at Scout Road and have a cup of coffee on me.
Be in the know and follow Blade Man's on Facebook and Instagram today. 10% discount to police and military, and now you can see the collection of Shun knives, the finest in kitchen cutlery, available at Blade Man's Knife Shop in the shops of Scott Road.
The most common form of treatment for the arthritic joints is normally cortisone injections and gel shots and over-the-counter medications. And most patients have tried all of that and are still in pain.
Every day, Dr. Aaron Wolkoff, a QC Kinetics medical director, meets patients who have exhausted every method to get relief. They've been told surgery is their only option.
They want to stay away from that path, and they come to us almost as a last hope. So we're using our own body's properties to help manage pain, to help slow arthritis down, keep the patients active with no downtime, and get them back to what they enjoy doing. I mean, I love what I do.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments from our board-certified providers help heal and restore aching joints. No surgery, harmful drugs, or downtime. Call for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 260-333-9383. That's 260-333-9383. 260-333-9383.
Attention all business owners and marketers, mark your calendars for March 19th at 2 p.m. because we have an event that will transform your marketing game. Join us for the second edition of Marketing Mic Drop, where our marketing experts will reveal the secrets to winning big in business. Picture this, a mini marketing panel delving into the power of sweepstakes. Discover the untapped potential that lies in incorporating sweepstakes into your marketing efforts. It's not just a game of chance, it's a strategic move that can elevate your business to new heights. Our seasoned panelists will share insights, success stories, and proven strategies that have propelled businesses to success. Learn how to captivate your audience, boost engagement, and grow your business. So why wait? Join us March 19th at 2 p.m. for our 30-minute marketing mic drop to witness our mini marketing panel discuss all the ways that using sweepstakes will help your business win big. Register today at federatedmedia.com or text sweeps to 46862. That's federatedmedia.com or text sweeps to 46862. This webinar event is sponsored by Federated Media. New ideas, old values.
Are you ready to feel the rumble?
The ball's on its way. Got it! 3-ball and 3-nation out in force here at the Gate Center.
The Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons are on the air.
Give us the elbows, rolls it out. Got it! 2 seconds. It's Bouchard and the Dodgers
It's time for the Mastodons pregame show. Now let's go courtside on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
It's a ticket to the Barbasol Horizon League Basketball Championships in Indianapolis on the line. From Rochester, Michigan, tonight the Mastodons with Game 2 of their tournament trail pay a visit on the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Welcome to Mastodons basketball. I am Brett Rump. Adam Lundy is our studio producer.
Podcasts by Federated Media.